Do you suffer from stress, anxiety, or depression? Do you find it hard to focus or to contain your emotions? Any of these things can take you down. So, what then are your personal health practices? If you don't yet have an integral or holistic wellness practice, you're in the right place. Podcast host Susan Axelrod, the confidence coach, has been practicing holistic wellness for 25 years. Along the way, Qigong and Tai Chi found her. After tiptoeing in, she dove into a committed practice and became a teacher and integral wellness consultant. She'll tell you Qigong and Tai Chi changed her life. In this podcast, she interviews practitioners, inviting them to share their stories about how these practices changed their lives too. Go grab your journal. At the top of a clean page, write down, "I want to feel better." Then take a breath and tune in to see if Qigong and Tai Chi can help. Hello, friends. Welcome to this episode of How Qigong and Tai Chi Changed My Life. I have invited guests to join me who are practitioners so they can share their own personal stories. I asked my guests to share their bio with me, which I am going to read specifically and directly to you in full, because I want you to learn about the different kinds of people who practice this special modality. Today, my guest is Dr. Noelle Berger. She is a psychologist with 30 years of experience. She provides CBT, EMDR, and biofeedback. She became interested in Tai Chi and Qigong when she was working at a VA medical center. She has been training to be a Tai Chi and Qigong instructor since 2020 with the Institute of Integral Qigong and Tai Chi. This has been a life-changing experience. She is interested in integrating Tai Chi and Qigong into her psychotherapy work and also in creating classes for people with chronic pain, serious medical illnesses, and PTSD. Hi, Noelle. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hello. So good to see you, Susan.
Good to see you. Honestly, I am truly delighted in these conversations that I'm having with people whom I met, you, for example, through our certification training with the Institute of Integral Qigong and Tai Chi under the direction of Dr. Roger Yanka. So I want to get right to it, Noelle. Tell us, share it with us. How did Qigong and Tai Chi change your life?
Well, I think you said it in the intro. I took a class probably about 10 to 15 years ago. It was a really serious Tai Chi class, and I took it for a year. It was very different from how Roger presents Tai Chi Qigong, in that everyone was silent in the class. There was not much explanation, and you kind of just followed the leader. And there was something very calming about that for me, but I did not seem to improve. And I got a little frustrated with it. And I had a lot of questions and I couldn't really get my questions answered. So I left that after about a year. And then I didn't do any Tai Chi or Qigong for that period of time until about 2020. I was asked at the VA to become a Tai Chi Qigong instructor for the whole health movement, the whole health program. I was already running an EFT, emotional freedom technique group for them, which was really great and really well received. So they were trying to give me another practice to incorporate. And initially I said, no, I don't think so. I'd rather do hypnosis, which was another option. And they said, well, anyone can do hypnosis, but you have to, be willing to get up in front of people and be able to do the Tai Chi Qigong might be more of a challenge for you. So I decided to do it, but they didn't give me much money. So I had to find something inexpensive. So I only found 2 classes and I looked at one of them. One of them just didn't really connect with me for some reason. I really didn't feel that this was for me. And then I found Roger's class, and Roger offered in the fall of 2020 a class for veterans and veteran providers. It was a free class. It was the Healer Within, Medical
Oh,
Qigong, and that's how I got involved with Roger.
oh,
And that was life changing because for the first time I really saw that I could teach this, that it was accessible, that people really responded well to it, that it was for everyone. I think there were about 220 people in that training. It was a lot of people.
wow.
Very big training. It was very popular. But that began my journey with the Institute for Integral Qigong and Tai Chi, and my journey with Roger and all of his wonderful trainers. So I was so fortunate to find that. It was at the Open Center in New York, but it was virtual because it was in the midst of the pandemic.
Yeah, you said fall of 2020.
Fall of 2020. I think it was
Right.
October. But it was an amazing experience because it got me curious and it got me moving and it got me connecting with people who were also interested in this. So from there, I took the Tai Chi Easy. Probably about a year later, I took Tai Chi Easy, and that got me even more into it because Tai Chi Easy is very fun
Yeah.
and really fun. And so is Medical Qigong, but the Tai Chi Easy just was a lot of fun. And then I wasn't planning to do any more training actually, but what happened was things pop up in your mailbox, and over time I did some other classes that they had. They offer a lot of classes with the institute. So I did other classes with other trainers, and then I thought, well, maybe I want to do a little more. And then I took level 1, that was last spring, and then I took level 2 in the fall. So it just kept going, and
Yeah.
I think and I've met amazing people like you, and I
Oh,
think it's also the people, it's the activity, but the people that keep me going as well.
so there's a few things here I want to point out. First of all, thank you so much. This is very interesting to me. I want to note that you 10 to 15 years ago, you did find a class and you took a class. It was silent, and basically you just followed the leader, and that it was calming, but eventually you got frustrated and you had a lot of questions. Now, in the silent class, you're not asking questions. I got that. But look what you did. You still did it for a year. So you don't do something for a year unless, in some way, as you said, it's serving you. But I really did want to note that, and that you stuck with it because the chi, the underlying chi from the foundational movement that you were doing, because you indicated you followed. So, you were following the movement, right? Really kind of grabbed you, would you say?
Yes, I felt good, and by good I mean I felt the chi flowing when I was doing it and afterwards. And I even brought the instructor to the VA to work with the veteran. So I did feel like it was helping me. I think the piece that was frustrating was I didn't understand how or why.
Oh,
It
because
was
you're a doctor, you're a person of science. You want to know how and why, right?
it definitely was helping me, and I felt great and enough to be there at 8 in the morning on a Saturday. So it was
That's
drawing
Oh,
me
8
in.
in the morning on a
It
Saturday.
was 8 in the
So
morning on a Saturday.
there's something else that I really want to go to, because my purpose for launching this podcast and having these conversations is to help our listeners or viewers understand all of these things. How did we get into it? How do you do it? You got up for a year, 8 a.m. on a Saturday, because it did help you in many ways. But eventually you found Dr. Roger Yanka, as I did. For me, it was through his book. A friend sent me, The Healer Within. And then you said Roger's style for you was supportive of what your soul really needed, which was an ability to, sort of do it in a way that worked for you. He answers a lot of questions. He shares the science. He shares the physiology, and he also shares the spiritual. And so you said it got me curious, and what it got me moving, which is also a completely game-changing way to support your mental health and emotional well-being. And so then from there, you took Tai Chi Easy. And then this part I really loved, Noelle, when you said, I wasn't planning to do more. And then you said, but then, emails pop up in your mailbox. So the reason I'm repeating this is to help anyone out there who might, be a wellness instructor or coach or a person to inspire, to realize here's one person who just told us I wasn't going to do it, but I got the email. I was like, okay, maybe I'll sign on. And this really is life changing. I mean, getting into the Tai Chi Easy led you to the higher levels of certification, didn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is life changing. And I don't think things just happen for no reason. And I do think that this whole path was meant for me. And initially, even though I got something out of the class I took, a long time ago, but I needed it to be presented in a different way. I think I
Mm,
needed to understand it more. And I think Roger really provides that with his trainers. And I also felt like the people kept me coming back. I was meeting these incredible people in the classes, like you and other people in the classes, and the trainers are amazing, and Roger's amazing. And there's a part of me that felt like my need is getting met in this training because I'm really feeling connected with this group of people, even though it's online, which is amazing. Because remember, I went in person to the
yeah,
other class. I was there for a year in person, but yet I felt really connected with this online community, and people live throughout the world in this community. So
that's right.
that's really cool, actually. You get different perspectives. People are in different time zones and doing very different things.
Yeah,
What
we had people showing up in the middle of the night from Australia or
exactly in
whatever.
the dark? It was dark, and they were in the dark. but,
Yeah,
but
exactly. So
yeah.
it says that you're interested in creating Qigong or Tai Chi classes for people with chronic pain, serious medical illnesses, and PTSD. So where are you on that journey, and why do you think this modality will help those groups?
Well, I'll start with the last part, which is why I think it will help, and then I'll backtrack, I guess, because that's been on my mind. I think because I've noticed a lot of changes in myself that I think would be very helpful for other people, and especially people dealing with chronic illnesses or PTSD or, you know, the I had my own medical challenges, so and they were serious. They were very serious. I had when I was younger, in my late 20s, I had an Epstein-Barr infection. I had chronic fatigue immune dysfunction syndrome, CFIDS, where I was told you will either get better quickly, or you'll get better in 2 years, or you'll never get better. Basically,
Wow.
is what I was told. So I didn't get better quickly. So I didn't want to be the forever sick person. So I did a lot of holistic work. I got acupuncture. I took supplements. I looked into Reiki, energy healing, and I did get better in 2 years. And I returned to my previous functioning. I was very
Wow.
fortunate to be in Connecticut, where a lot of these modalities are available, where I had connections to get to them. I had the money from working to go and pursue that. And then I was okay for a while, but then I got in 2015 I had a subarachnoid brain hemorrhage, and that was a real wake up call to me because I could have died.
I'm not really, I mean, I guess I know what a brain hemorrhage is, but
Sorry, my screen fell.
oh, that's okay. So I guess I know what a brain hemorrhage is, but I'm not exactly sure how that sort of manifested. What happened?
It's a sudden thing. It just happens out of the blue. You're going along. I was at my daughter's softball game, and I was cheering for her, and I'd worked that day. I'd been pretty stressed with work, and it was hot, and I was drinking a lot of water, and I'm jumping up and down and cheering, and I feel a pop in the back of my head near my neck. And I thought, "Oh no, that I think I popped a disc or something in my neck."
Right.
So but then it started to hurt a lot. And I didn't know if it was a disc or what it was, but
Right.
I felt really sick all of a sudden. So,
Wow.
and I went back to my car and sat there till the game was over and didn't go to the
Wow.
hospital till a few hours later because I didn't know what it was. And it could have been life threatening. And it was a wake up call to me that I was under too much stress, that could happen because it is linked to high blood pressure. And that, I had to kind of change sort of what I was doing and get back to those the holistic way, not only of treating things but of living, that I had
Mm,
to really pursue that. And
wow.
the balance, to be honest with you, when I took the Tai Chi class like 10, 15 years ago, I didn't have balance issues, but I did after the subarachnoid brain hemorrhage. I did have balance issues. So I didn't, I did not go do Tai Chi and Qigong to deal with that. I went to vestibular training instead, and that really helped. That was a physical therapy treatment. But I do feel, because I have had balance issues and occasionally still do, had very severe headaches from that experience. I realized that a lot of it's what you do for yourself that makes you well. Your body really can heal. I also had a bout with thyroid cancer a few months later, and am totally fine now. But
Wow.
a lot of it is what you do for yourself, but it's also treating the mind and the body, because in that case, I really think with my brain hemorrhage, it was my stress that tipped the balance and created that situation. So managing stress is important. And I feel like the Tai Chi and the Qigong really do help you manage stress, but they also really help kind of link up your physical and your mental aspects of your body in a way where you're more balanced.
Oh
So,
my gosh, Noelle. Um, I honestly, I need to, I keep saying, like, I didn't know people deeply and personally before these conversations. And so I didn't know this. I didn't know about these various things per se. And I want to just pause here for a moment and invite our listeners and viewers to really understand what we just learned. Here's one person, a real person in front of us, who suffered from a deep stress and over many years, also the physical ailments that presented, and how you're sharing with us that Qigong and Tai Chi treat the mind and body,
mhm.
and that linking the physical and mental is part of the game changer uh, in this practice. And I really want to invite people to just take a breath here, right? And say, Noelle, I'm glad that you're well now. And I'm glad that you found this modality. We just have another minute or two. Um, are you now teaching, or this is part of your plan going forward?
I am teaching individually in my psychotherapy sessions, and I would like to start some classes really targeting those populations that struggle medically and also with PTSD. And there is medical PTSD too. So
Mhm.
it's not just combat or people who have survived horrific, physical assault or accidents. There's also, there's PTSD from being in the medical system and struggling to get treatment or having treatments that are scary and overwhelming and not really being able to voice that fear. So I'm very sensitive to that, and I really would like to provide those classes. It's just figuring out how to set them up. And I do work at a hospital, so I will probably be trying to work with the hospital, but linking up with people. And I think a lot of people could benefit. And, in within myself, when I took the level 2, I noticed a lot of positive changes all throughout my training. I've noticed positive
Same.
changes. And,
Yeah.
things I didn't think possible, like my eyesight has improved. During level 2, I started to notice toward the end my eyesight improved, my sense of smell improved, which is linked to your brain. So those are brain changes.
Yeah.
They're very important brain changes. Stability, feeling grounded, balance improving, improved flexibility, strength. My legs are so much stronger, from which I did not expect, because I don't necessarily see the Tai Chi Qigong as an exercise program for me, but it's definitely a movement and it is an exercise program. You become extremely strong, but it's also physically and mentally making that linkage. It's very profound. And that for me has been life changing.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to bring this to a close. I wanted these sessions to be intentionally brief. And I really want to say again, I invite our viewers and listeners to watch this episode again, take out your pen and pad, and make the notes that speak to you. Noelle, I want to do anything that's in my power, AKA my skill set, to support you with the classes. So I'm going to talk to you about that offline. At the time that's exactly right, in the way that's exactly right. I already know basically all we need to do is talk a little bit about structure, and that will move you further on the path. And then at the chi timing, you're going to achieve that goal. I want to say thank you so much for being with us today and for sharing your story. And I want to wish you the very best in chi. Thank you for, practicing with me today through this form of Qigong. All right, Noelle, thanks again. And I'll look forward to speaking with you soon about setting up those classes.
Thank you, Susan. I appreciate it.
Take good care.
You too. Bye-bye.